to, it would have been like, what, February 15th, the 16th, last Thursday. So last Thursday is when I applied or not when I applied, when I started my quest, if you will, and it ended up turning out to be a quest of setting up my bank account to my Google AdSense account so that I can get paid through the monetization that I make, small little bits of it, but still, monetization nonetheless, could go for like living expenses and stuff through my YouTube stuff. The first thing that I had to do was wait until I met the minimum payment threshold, which for AdSense, the lowest that you can set that minimum payment threshold is $100. But here's the weird thing about how AdSense does things. The minimum payment threshold, being $100 and all that, that's, it's a little bit, well, not even awkward, but like it's fine, I guess, in hindsight, now that I think about it, now that I've calmed down a little, since this seems to be having a pretty happy resolution to everything, seems fine. But the weird thing is, on top of the all of the information that you have to fill out for the AdSense when you first join the YouTube Partner Program, because as soon as you're admitted into the YouTube Partner Program, you're prompted to set up your AdSense account, so that way you can, monetize your YouTube uploads, your YouTube videos and such. The one thing that I could not do when starting things off was add my bank account. It asked for everything else, including, verification, even including, I forget what the exact like name of the tax form is I had to fill out, but I had to fill out my tax info and all that. But for some weird reason, I could not add my bank account until I met the minimum payment threshold for the first time. So, fast forward to, February, like last Thursday, 15th, 16th, whenever, I meet that minimum payment threshold for the first time. So, sweet, awesome, I'm gonna get paid, or so I think. So I go to add my bank account through Google AdSense, and when I go to fill in my information, for some reason this piece of information is always one that sticks out with me because of just how absurd it is. The first stump that I came across was the fact that, along with the other information that it was asking for my bank account, it was asking for my sort code and account number instead of my routing number and account number. Sort codes are things that people in like the UK and Ireland do, but not in the US. So that was the first snag that I ran into, and the fix for it, because I came across this in a random YouTube video after doing some YouTube hunting. The fix that I found was to go to my language settings in AdSense. I had to set my language from English US, which is what it was previously on, to English UK, then back to English US, and now it's asking me for the correct information. Now it's asking me for the routing number and account number. So that was really strange, but you know what? Fair enough, we figured it out. Let's go on ahead and get this thing going. So I go to add my bank account, and as soon as I hit save, it says that the verification has failed. Please try again later. Here's a little thing about the verification process for Google AdSense. The way that AdSense does it is that with like anywhere between 1 to 1 to 3 or 5 business days, I think it is, as soon as your bank account is successfully added to your AdSense profile, they will send a test deposit of less than $1 to make sure that, all of the information is accurate, that this is a real bank account, and, all of this and that. So when I see verification failed, I'm like, what? That's a bit weird. But the weird thing is, all I got was an error message that was at the bottom rather than like a pop-up that said, congratulations, your bank account has been added. Okay, now it's time to wait for a couple days, however long it takes until our test deposit goes through to you. So because of that, I removed and added my bank account a couple of times until like after my third or fourth try at it, I eventually just got a different error message that said, we can't do this, you're gonna need to contact, support and everything. What had happened was the verification process had failed, a number of times, and as a result, I now had a restriction on my account that I needed to contact the support team for. So I'm obviously frustrated. I'm like, what the f? I reach out to someone. The first customer service rep that I talked to, he said that he would pass the information along to the specialist team, and further updates would be provided once he hears back from them. One day passes, and I get a follow-up email from the customer service rep, and he says that, okay, the specialist team went in and cleared the issue. You should probably wait like 48 hours from the time of this email in order to do that, though. Now I'm thinking, okay, you know what? We should be good. I do go ahead and wait until Monday to try it out, though. Not for any particular reason. I was just too tired to bother with it on a Sunday when the 48 hours would have ended and such. I'm like, you know what? I can deal with this, tomorrow. That double kill with the railgun. Did you see that? Fuck. So on that Monday, I go to add in my bank account through AdSense again. I have to do the whole swapping the sort code with the routing number fix again. I add my bank account, but then guess what? When I go to hit save, I get the exact same error message as before. The same one that said, you're gonna need to contact the support team. You have a restriction on your account. So now I'm thinking like, what? Like, what the I wasn't mad at the customer service rep person, for that. Because the customer service rep is essentially, like, if I had to describe it in alternative terms, they're basically the people at, like, the receptionist desk for, like, an in-person something, and then they go and tell, like, the people behind the desk, like the specialists who are trained for these kinds of issues, what's going on. So I wasn't mad at, the customer service rep. My anger was to the specialist people. So because at first I'm like, did they screw this up somehow? So I reach back out to the person, and I let them know, hey, the restriction is still on my account and such. And that was like in the early afternoon. Later in that day, I had the thought of, well, you know what? What if it's my bank that's preventing me from adding this? Like, what if it's something on the bank side that, they're saying we need to wait until this guy gives us a call and gives us the green light so that we know that it's safe to add his bank account to this. So I go to call, but then I realize, oh, today is President's Day, so my bank is closed. So I'm thinking like, okay, I'm gonna need to wait. So now we can fast forward to 10 p.m. later that night, and I get a reply email, this time from a different person, a second customer service rep, who said that the previous one wasn't at work at the moment, so he would be taking over. So he said, hey, I'm sorry that, this happened and all that. He did say that they went ahead and double-checked my account again, and they confirmed that there are no restrictions on it. At first, this was confirmation that this was for sure on my bank's end. I'm thinking, well, okay, so it's probably just a matter of calling my bank tomorrow, letting them know, no, you can go on ahead and let the bank account be added to this, that's legit, it's me, we're good to go, and all that jazz. But then, later that night, as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? Because I take a look at the guy's support email, and I notice it's from Google Pay, not Google AdSense specifically. So then my brain starts to connect the dots together. At this moment, it was big brain time for me. So I'm starting to think, wait a minute, are Google AdSense and Google Pay one and the same? Meaning, could I add my bank account through Google Pay and then essentially just import everything over from Pay into AdSense once the verification goes through on Google Pay's end? So I go to Google Pay, and sure enough, there's an option to add a payment method onto there. So I go on ahead and attempt to add my bank. The first good sign, I don't need to do a language swap in order to swap out a sort code for a routing number, because immediately on top of the other information it asked of me, it asked for my routing number and account number, not a sort code and account number. So already we were off to a good start there. So then I add in everything to my bank, and then wouldn't you know it, as soon as I hit save, I get a pop-up that says something to the effect of, congratulations, your bank account has been added. Be on the lookout in a couple of business days for a test deposit so that your bank can be verified. And then sure enough, in the email I got, also there, it said, congrats, your bank account has been added. Wait a couple days for a test deposit, and then you'll be good to go from there. So, holy shit, people, if shit just works, it's Wonderful, what can happen, you know? All of this just works. You know, except that would actually be a very fitting thing for Todd Howard to say if he did in fact work at Google AdSense, because holy fucking shit, no it didn't. At least not on AdSense's end, at least. Through Google Pay's end, it worked just fine. And even better, when I went ahead and checked over on the AdSense side of things, sure enough, my bank account was already there. I didn't even need to import anything. It was automatically added on AdSense's end, and it was just a matter of waiting for the whatchamacallit, the test deposit to come through. And then sure enough, earlier today, the test deposit came through. I reported it, my bank account has been verified, and I was almost set and ready to go, except for the fact that for one reason or another, I was still getting an action required notification towards the top of my screen on top of the AdSense homepage that said, hey, you know, you need to check something out on your YouTube, you know, payments section and everything. Even though I had literally done everything that I possibly could on my end. So I reached back out to the customer support person, and they're like, if this persists, you know, let us know. We'll handle this over to the specialist team again. We'll have them take a look again, and all that. So I'm thinking like, man, I almost had it. I was almost there, you know, but So here's where I'm not sure whether what I did fixed something or if it just happened to be coincidental timing. It was a couple of days ago that I went ahead and went on a scheduling upload spree of all of the Twitch VODs that I had managed to save up to that point. I've scheduled all of the VODs that I have remembered to save up for the YouTube upload for another time, for later throughout the next 2 weeks or so. One of those stream VODs, specifically a Need for Speed a Need for Speed Undercover VOD, when I was playing the PlayStation 2 version, that got a copyright claim because there was copyrighted music that I got dinged for in one of the cutscenes of the game. I had turned off the EA tracks, like the copyrighted music in game, but that had no effect on the cutscene audio, so I got dinged for that. I go on ahead and head over to my YouTube studio because the notification had been there for a little bit. I've just never gotten around to dismissing that notification. So I then dismiss the notification, and then shortly after, when I go back to AdSense like a minute later just to refresh the page to see what happens, sure enough, that pop-up is not there anymore. So now I'm thinking, wait a minute, did a copyright claim for music on the YouTube side of things, you know, affect what happened on the AdSense side of things? Because like on paper, it would make sense that something from the YouTube side would affect something from the AdSense side, because, you know, they're closely linked to one another, because AdSense is the way that, you know, or one of the ways I should say, that that people who make YouTube videos get paid. At first I thought for sure that was what happened, but at the same time now I'm thinking like, well, maybe it just needed like however long it had been, like hour and a half, 2 hours, however long it had been at that point, since my bank account had been verified. Maybe it just needed that long time for the error to go away. But here's the thing. I don't think that was it, because on the Google Pay side of things, not AdSense, but on the Google Pay side of things, before my bank account had been verified, I had gotten, like on my notification center, there was like a +1, or no, it was +2, because I forget what the second alert was for, but it was related to AdSense. But I had one alert that said, you know, hey, you know, verify your bank account so that we can get this taken care of for you. And then another error alert that was like in conjunction with the previous one. I forget what it said off the top of my head though. But in any case, you know, as soon as my bank account was verified, that particular error over on the Google Pay side was gone. So now I'm thinking like, maybe like was it the copyright claim? and such, which is scary because, well, actually, no, not scary, now that I think about it, actually, because all I would have to do, if I do happen to get another copyright claim for like a video of mine, I would just need to dismiss it. But now I'm thinking of a nightmare scenario of like, what if I forget, like if that is indeed what happened, where I had to dismiss the claim and then that was what was going on AdSense's end. I'm thinking to myself, what if I forget to do that on like the last day before an AdSense payment is scheduled, and then all of a sudden my payment is delayed by a month? Because for those of you unfamiliar with how the AdSense payment structure works in or on YouTube, I should say, the way that it works is that payments get initiated / sent out anywhere between the 21st through the 26th of the month, or at least for an EFT, at least for an electronic funds transfer, like in my case, that's the timeline. So any changes, so like whether or not you voluntarily placed a hold on your AdSense account, or if a hold was placed on there for one reason or another, which the action required thing that I got was a hold, I'm pretty sure that I needed to have cleared. Any changes of that nature need to be made on or before the 20th of the month in order for the payment for that particular month, you know, to go through and such. Otherwise the payment gets delayed until the next month. So at least, so like worst case scenario, like you still get paid, you know, even if you're not able to resolve something by the 20th, but you're just gonna have to wait an extra month, which could be like a serious matter depending on like what in particular is happening at any, you know, given moment. So I was cutting it close and such with the hold for today, and then going back to the whole like, oh what if I forget to dismiss something, you know, what if I only realize, oh I forgot to dismiss that claim, you know, but it's like the 21st instead of the 20th, and then all of a sudden I have to wait a month, you know. I'm like,